I have a bilateral above the knee amputee that uses hand controls to drive. Um, does anyone else have any, anything, is anyone a right amputee that has advice for her? Lynn?
I'm a right above the knee.
Okay.
And from the beginning, what I did was I already knew the laws and the rules to driving. So I just went to an empty parking lot, and just retrained how to drive with my left foot
Okay.
and start getting the coordination, of driving, just like, similar to when you're a new driver, but you already have the advantages of knowing all the rules and how a car works. So that's, basically that's what I did. I just practiced in an empty parking lot and just did everything, different kinds of turns, parking, just to get, my coordination.
Right. And that's kind of what I have a lot of patients do that don't use hand controls that they do. They did the same thing of you got to start slow, of just the same way of progressing from when you started to learn how to drive, of using your left foot, kind of tucking the prosthesis out of the way. I have some people that take it off when they're driving if it's too in the way. But also, like, even I have some below knee patients that they like to tuck their leg out of their way and they don't use their prosthesis when they're driving, even if they're below the knee, that they still use their left foot. And so you have that control, you have that kind of sensation that you can feel where the pedals are at, and it's just kind of getting used to where the pedals are and retraining your body. So as far as building confidence, Lynn, would you say that just practice, 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 practice?
Yeah, just practicing. And the other thing that I just want to mention is that, if you go to rent a car and you have any kind of accommodations, and it's on your license, that's the type of vehicle you have to rent. And it won't be as quick as if you just rent a regular car. So that's something to think about too. If you're traveling, going to go on vacation, and then you have problems renting a vehicle.
Right. It's a good tip.
Nate's advice is to get registered for sure, so that if you do get into a car accident, they can't hold your amputation against you.
Mhm.
Oh,
So retake that driving test so that it shows that you passed your driver's test, that you can drive your vehicle, you can operate your vehicle, that your amputation is not a hindrance to you. So that if you do get in an accident, that they can't use that against you and say, oh, well, they weren't driving, or they have an amputation and it basically impaired their driving ability. That if you go and you retake your driver's test, with those adaptations, then that will hold up, that it's not because of your amputation, that there was other things kind of going on in that situation. Any other?
Well, it's just like, you're relearning something all over again, even though you know it, you sort of relearn it. I drive a motorcycle, so I had to relearn how to shift, I'm a left below the knee amputee, and that's the side I had to shift on. So I had to relearn how to do it with my prosthesis. I mean, you can do it. You just have to have your mindset to do it. I know some people it's scary, but you can do it. It just like even though you know how to drive, you just sort of have to reteach yourself to do it a little differently, I guess.
I will say, for some below the knee amputees that have a right below knee amputation, that they still drive with their prosthesis, because you can still have that proprioception, right? So you can feel the pedals based on where you feel things kind of translating up the socket. And so you're using more of, you don't have that ankle motion to push the pedals down, that you're using more of that hip to kind of lift up at your knee and push down on the pedals, because you're not pushing at your ankle. So it takes a little bit more control, a little bit different, but again, of just retraining yourself.